Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Drift Happens. After our unplanned and unannounced slight summer break, you may have noticed we missed a few Fridays there in the middle. Uh, Life got tough. Yeah, tough. I'll say tough. But Arthur, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I like how you said Fridays as if we've not been uploading on Monday for the past 3 months.
That is also true in the
It's
continuance
okay.
of life getting tough. I started working a different second job, so now I work twice a day, 6 days a week. Uh,
Disgusting.
And recently, Joey, where it's a little bit of a saga. So if you don't care about anything in my personal life, feel free to skip ahead a few minutes. But Joey's car had a date with a roundabout curb, and by date I mean they went at it hot and heavy the first time they met. I fucked up so much of my front suspension, uh, so I had to take that to the shop. While waiting on the shop, my friend Grant, our friend Grant, we both know him, is a wonderful human being and is letting me borrow his truck that has been sitting in his driveway for the last year and a half as his project truck. So, 2 Sundays ago, as of recording, just after the incident with my car happened, Grant came to pick me up because we had to go fix the truck. The truck needed not one but 2 new batteries. So, as Grant is coming to pick me up in his car, one of the bolts on his calipers falls off of his brakes as he's driving. So he gets to me, and we have to sit around for about an hour waiting for his brother to come help us fix his car that is just sitting on the side of the road. He bought a new bolt for
Jesus
us to
Christ.
reattach the brake pad and caliper to the car. So then we got to go drive all the way across town to the truck, determined that the truck needed new batteries because we are like, well, maybe it just needs a jump start. It did not need a jump start. It needed 2 new batteries. So we had to drive all the way across town to where we can get to a Rural King where the batteries are $50 cheaper than anywhere else.
Good to
Uh,
know.
got the batteries, got them in the truck started. I have been learning how to sail a boat recently because going from a little itty bitty Volkswagen GTI to an F-250 Super Duty with the full size bed
Yeah, it's
and
like 4 times the size.
an extended cab,
Oh my god.
getting a whopping 12 miles per gallon of diesel. Uh, that's been
Woo!
a change. So yeah,
Delicious.
that was, the first Sunday after I wrecked my car, and then I had to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday again. The next Saturday, so I didn't even make it all the way to Sunday, the 4th of July, as I'm driving to work, I'm like, "Man, what is that squealing sound when I brake? That's probably not good." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's really squealing." And then it was annoying me, so I'm like, "Well, maybe a caliper's just kinda getting gummed up." So I slammed on the brakes, and then it stopped squealing. So I'm like, "Okay, cool. Fix
That's
that."
good. I don't
Uh,
like where this is going.
and the rest of my 30-mile drive, of which this was about 12 of those miles, I'm like, these brakes are feeling weird. These brakes are getting squishy. These brakes are getting really squishy." And then by the time I parked at work, I had no brakes. And I'm like,
Oh my god.
damn. So my stopping distance, which was already atrocious, then turned into about a quarter mile.
Oh
So
my god.
luckily, there's roundabouts constantly. So as long as I can just slow down enough to make sure that no one's coming, I don't have to stop. And stopping's the problem. Slowing down, because, it's a 7.3-liter diesel engine. The engine brakes itself quite a bit when you let off the gas. So, it's just that last 20 miles an hour.
I love how this story started with you fucking up your car on a roundabout, and it ends with a roundabout saving you from tying the truck. It's
Oh,
very full circle poetic.
oh, you think it ends? You think it
Oh,
ends there?
oh no.
So, of course, I'm in the loaner car, of which we've already replaced the batteries. Now, I had to limp it over to Grant's brother's house, who is thankfully an auto mechanic and has every tool imaginable in his garage, where we had to replace the rear rotor because there just was no pad left. It was crumbs fell out, and that's the noise that we were hearing was the crumbs of the brakes and the piston just going straight up against the rotor. So I had to get a new caliper and pads and rotor. So I'm like, okay, I have brakes again. This is nice. So that was the second Sunday that I usually spend editing these podcasts, gone to working on a car.
Yeah.
Uh, so then
Now you have your
all
car
was well.
back and you still gotta work on it.
True. My car that was wrecked, we have finally gotten it on a trailer and in somebody's driveway. But now I know what needs replaced, which is a lot. Uh, yeah, a lot of things are broken. And then as a little adage, driving the truck, the turn signal breaks, the stock. There's just a suspiciously loud click as I was turning left. And then when I finished turning left, the left turn signal stayed on and it just did not go off. The left turn signal was completely stuck on. So drove it back home with the left turn signal on, feeling like an asshole. Had to pull out the fuse for the hazard lights, so I had no turn signals for a couple days. But again, lots of roundabouts, and you don't need turn signals in those either. So there's actually a lot of good things to roundabouts if you're driving a car that doesn't work.
That's
Uh,
good, as long as you don't wreck in it.
yeah. So then I replaced the turn signal stock, and now it seems pretty good. It drives and
Jesus.
functions. It's got cold AC. The radio works. It's got cruise control. I mean,
What more could a boy ask for?
yeah, so what if it's a fixer-upper? It gets me there, usually.
Yeah. So, well, everyone knows now why we've been slowed down a little bit. But if you're bitching and moaning about it, fuck you. We do what we want. This is our podcast.
Yeah, shout out to our regular listeners who are like, "Oh, they're gonna be so glad that we're back." And it was like, "Oh, that's why." That's a reasonable explanation. Joey's life fell apart. We'll let him have this one. To which I
We'll let them
thank
have
you
it.
all. Appreciate you guys, sticking with us, and it's good to be back recording again. It has been a while since
Couple
we even
weeks. Yeah.
recorded.
Yeah. The last one was very haphazard too. But yeah, I guess let's get into it. So today, Joey, we are going to be talking about an ancestry. And I've got your clue when you're ready. This one is going to be, I think, very achievable. But I really wanted to do this clue.
Alright, let's hear the clue.
Yes, everybody wants to be a cat because a cat's the only cat who knows where it's at.
Thank you for that excellent rendition of, a song from the Aristocats. Great movie. Everyone should watch it if you haven't. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say Pahtra because we're
Yeah,
talking
you're
about
right.
the kitty
You're
cat
right on
people.
that.
And I
If you'd
remembered
gotten it
their
wrong, I
name.
would have reached through this webcam and strangled your ass.
I knew we were talking about the cat people, but I'm just especially glad that I remembered that they're called the Pahtra of
That's
Vesk
true.
6?
Of Polonus.
Polonus, sorry.
Form, yeah,
Sorry, I dead named. My bad.
yeah. You did, in fact, dead name. It was Vessis. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the kitty cats, and I'm going to be giving you your flavor text in just a second.
Pahtras evolved on a low-gravity jungle world called Polonus, where they fought a long war for independence from the Veskarium conquerors. Recently, Pahtra freedom fighters defeated the last Veskarium occupiers, then voted to join the Pact Worlds as a sovereign planet. Today, Polonus is a lush, verdant world racked by dangerous magnetic storms and scarred by the Veskarium's brutal invasion and subsequent occupation. The struggles of survival have influenced many Pahtra traditions, leading to a culture of competitive war games, time honored mysticism, and unorthodox technology. Music accompanies everything in Pahtra culture, from popular entertainment to traditional battle tactics, with martial combat even categorized as a form of battle dance. So these guys are just Brazilian.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's probably a good characterization.
Except
And yeah, I got
we've
some pictures for us to go to. Much like a lot of the different ancestries we've talked about, there's lots of different ways that these guys can present. And of course, these guys also got a Thunner boost of backgrounds in galactic ancestries. So they've got even more shit. Let me pull you over. Here's our first kitty cat of the day.
okay. This is a cat. I mean, my first. Oh my god. Sorry. We'll get to the bottom in a second because that's
It's
fucking funny.
stupid
These
shoes.
stupid ass shoes. This is
What are those?
my first thought is a Black Panther because he is mostly black and looks like a panther with like kind of some cheetah spots on his ears. He's wearing like a military fatigue coverall. He's got a combat knife, and he's holding a big pistol. Kind of what I would expect like a Central American narco warfighter to look like, honestly.
Yeah, I can
Um,
see it.
and then yeah, his stupid ass shoes, like they're boots, like what you would expect a military boot to look like, except I guess since they're double jointed, it kind of makes sense, but like their paw is the bottom of the boot, and then it laces up halfway along whatever that appendage is before it gets to the part of their leg where it bends back
That
forward.
next joint,
Yeah.
yeah.
What looks like it would be a heel, and they could just make it look like a heel or just have the boot go up over it. No, now it's just like his ankles are out. He's wearing long pants
And toe
and
coverings.
yeah, and toe coverings with like just his ankles hanging out.
It is a weird look. I also like he's got a really bizarre, like, earpiece in. Do you see that clipped on his ear?
Yeah, I didn't know if that was like an earring, like for just aesthetic, or if
Oh,
that is like a
piece of tech.
yeah, piece of tech. Well, it looks like either way it's gonna be
Yeah,
uh
I'm not sure. It
I'm
could be either,
50-50.
honestly.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
both. It could be an earring that also does things.
that's true. Functional. Alright, here's a different one.
Ah,
This guy thinks some kinda sports ball player.
this this one looks like a Khajiit from the Skyrim and Morrowind, Elder Scrolls universes, because he's the lighter furred, more also has spots on his arms, very leopard like. He's holding a doshka,
Doshko.
doshko, yeah,
Yep.
which apparently everyone uses these fucking weapons. Admittedly, we've been talking a lot of Vesk worlds and
Yeah.
Vesk ancestry, so I guess there's some overlap. But he's wearing like a armor jersey. It's got the number 6 on it. And he's holding a spiky ball of some sort. So I'm assuming that he's a professional polo player.
Yeah, baby. I like the consistency after we just talked about their weird feet stuff. Now his feet, this guy's rippers are out and his pants end where the other guy's shoes ended. So they are being consistent with how they.
Yeah, he is, I guess, technically barefoot.
Yeah. All right. Here is our third kitty cat.
All right. Saber-tooth tiger looking bodybuilder. This guy, is this from Paizo? Did Paizo make
Yeah.
this image? God damn.
Yes. Paizo made this image.
He's like literally in an Arnold bodybuilder pose, wearing a leotard, both nipples out from the sides of the leotard.
Which we can put a pin in that. That's a lot of questions about how these guys' anatomies work, but we can continue
That's
just with his
true.
prominent pecs and nipples.
And there could be
Hmm,
more nipples under the leotard. Those could
that's
be
true.
the ones that
They
people
could
would
be in there.
sexualize. And then this guy has little like wraps around his ankles and where I would assume is a proper place for an ankle.
Yeah.
Like goofy looking ass motherfucker is the most normal looking dressed out of all of them.
I can hear his Giga Chad soundtrack
Yeah.
just as he stands there.
I
All right.
also like
Oh, yep.
how they made it look like a heel of his foot because they gave him massive fucking calves.
Yeah. His calves are fucking juiced. Not that his arms are small, but those are
Yeah.
fucking meaty
This
calves.
this is just a Paizo really did that. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yep. Someone's working through something in their art department.
Are you telling me that there's a small furry population in the creation of science fiction and fantasy games?
Who's to say?
Who's to
All right,
say?
here's our last one. Let me scroll in on it.
Now, this is just an adorable little kitty cat. Like, non-humanoid at all. This is like a cat, like a small house cat that stood up. Uh, Wait, hang on. This one has 3 fingers and a thumb. Did the rest of them have that? I didn't look at their hands. That guy has 4 fingers. That guy also has 4 fingers
Well, this
and a
guy's got
thumb.
no. He's got 4 fingers and a thumb. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can, Looks like
Uh,
yeah, they everyone else has normal human hands, it looks
okay.
like.
But this little guy, he's like, I just noticed the sword that is as large as he is on his
Yeah,
back,
he's a little fella.
which could be just a dagger to most other characters in Ancestries,
Mhm.
but for him, he's giving it all he's got. He's got I
A
mean, this
Nokia, maybe?
yeah, it's like he got dropped from Pathfinder as a tinkerer and is just like, "Oh, I cannot wait for this because 'cause he's got, like, a loose-fitting, leathery kind of, like, top that you would expect an artificer to have, like, to
Sure.
hide little shits in and that kinda stuff, and, like, his sword does, like, have the pommel and crossguard of something old, like, it's not tech looking, and then he's got his little Nokia. He's just like,
Yeah, but the sword seems to be like a power sword, though. It's got something going on.
yeah, or it could just be a glowing blue gem because he likes
Yeah,
shiny things because he's a cat.
could be.
Little kitty cat.
But yeah, all that to say, there's a wide variety of how these little guys look. Well, some of them are more normal size, but that guy in particular is a bit smaller. Patras are feline humanoids. They're going to be covered in fur, with their coloration varying wildly depending on their ethnic group. We see some that'll have markings we would associate with like wild big cats. You talked about like the first one where you saw like kind of looks like a South American jaguar almost, but then you also have ones that look more like a house cat, just kind of in their coloration and fur stuff, and that more like the last one. Unique patterns and shapes within the fur of a patra are traditionally used by patra seers to divine an individual's like potential shortly after their birth. So they're like presented to like a mystic pretty much. He like looks at him and is like, ah, this guy has the rare such and such pattern. He's gonna be a great warrior or shit like that.
Alright, so, I mean, warrior culture, which they've been growing up with the Vesk, so it's gonna rub off on them a lot, but I
Well,
don't
this
know.
is actually pre-Vesk
Oh.
control. This is like a something that's been around forever kind of thing.
Ah, okay.
With exposure to the Pact worlds, Patra youth have started to rebel against this idea of predestination, choosing their own paths more confidently and not relying on the interpretation of their fur by some Yahoo as soon as they're born.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, so I mean, with breaking free from the Empire and now being exposed to the Pact worlds, now they have a lot more opportunity too, where they can just be like, I'm gonna fuck off and live in Verses for college or something like that. They're gonna get exposed to a bunch more stuff.
Yeah, and they're like, "My skin color, fur color, doesn't matter. Like, I can just do
Yeah,
what I want."
revolutionary.
Good job, Paizo.
These guys are generally going to stand between 5 to 6 feet tall, but there are some variants that are much smaller, and they're going to have elongated limbs and flexible joints. Although those that leave the planet Apollonis and have children abroad often find that their children grow up to be stockier and more muscular than they were, just because they've kind of been raised in a higher gravity location. So you might recall Polonus is pretty low gravity.
Yeah, so is that how we get the bodybuilder cats? Because 'Cause they're just like, "Ah, normal gravity. I'm gonna build muscles."
I'm gonna develop like crazy. Yeah, and then we saw it in some of the art, but these guys are gonna have natural weapons consisting of sharp teeth and retractable claws, and in addition, they have unique sensory organs across the surface of their muzzles, which can literally feel sounds. It's
Whiskers?
like they can like not really the whisk.
Do they
They
have
could like
whiskers?
feel. I think some of them did. Yeah, the ones in the pictures did.
Okay. So these are
But
like
yeah, it's more like a tactile, because whiskers is
yeah,
like a cat uses it to figure out, like, where exactly it is and stuff and have a sense of balance,
yeah,
but
but these use their whiskers for sound.
yeah,
What
to
about they use
feel
their
it
ears for?
for licking. So ancient Patran culture was born out of the highly competitive struggle for resources that formed the development of their people on the dangerous world that is Polonus before the Vesk even arrived on the planet. It did get to a point where technological development and advancement kind of stalled because the magnetic storms of the planet that you might recall made many advancements impossible and like metalworking and stuff. So even today, Patras have an affinity for things like ceramics, biotech, chemistry, and magic over more traditional sci-fi or like metal-based technologies.
I just love the idea of somebody like a blacksmith is like, "Ah, finally, I've made a sword." And then, like, the
Just
electromagnetic
kills him.
like, the lightning strikes and then just turns the sword fully magnetic and it just, like, lodges against the building side, and he's like, "Fuck, that's a permanent magnet
Let's
now. Alright,
let's never do that again.
lesson learned."
So the majority of Patras are actually asexual, and while they will have loving and fulfilling lifelong relationships with their chosen partners, few couplings choose to have children. Fortunately for the entire population, those who do have kids will bear litters of like 6 to 8 kids and are supported in raising those children by the members of the community who did not reproduce themselves, keeping the population going, but it doesn't like get overwhelmed. And, the parents are helped out so they're not just dealing with parenthood by themselves.
Okay, so, I mean, takes a village, but also when you have 8 kids, you're just like,
That could very quickly spiral if everyone is, popping out 8 kids every couple years.
yeah,
so,
it's good
so
that it's, "Alright, I'm not having kids, so I can help with yours."
yeah, no, it's kept the population manageable. And then just kind of for their mindset, Patras are known to be very competitively minded, and they certainly do good work in like a teamwork environment, but they will still try to find ways to excel in their chosen fields and rise above their peers, even if they're on the same team.
Yeah, well, I mean, gotta be the best, or at least try
You
to.
gotta be the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about how, like, everything well, not everything, but, like, a lot of competitiveness in
hmm
the culture is just like, obviously, even on a team sport, they're gonna be competitive to be the best on the team and do their best so they can beat the other team,
Yeah.
that kinda
Yeah,
jazz.
they're gonna like try to raise up their teammates, but also at the same time, they aren't gonna be content to be the backup quarterback situation.
Right.
Um, The culture reveres personal success without resorting to anything underhanded, like sabotage or disrespect or like spreading rumors. The exception to this is when fighting against a foe seen as underhanded or dishonorable themselves, which is how the Pahtra view the Vesk, who attacked them while being so technologically superior. So they're kind of like any sense of honor is out the window when you've got a bully who's just stunting on you, kind of shit.
Yep, and that's where we're going into the guerrilla warfare kinda deal, or
Yeah,
the
yeah, they very much would have preferred to, have more honorable, even tiered battles, but if that's not an option, then I guess they're gonna fuck around and find out.
yeah, they had to enlist the help of the guerrillas to get them off.
In part 2, we'll talk about the gorillas and Tarzan. Um, so with all this competition, it definitely extends into a love of physical prowess, which you'll see in the culture from they have a lot of like sporting events to there is an innate warrior culture. And this was something that had been around pre-Vesk and was a very proud part of the culture, but was ultimately, knocked down by the Vesk, who, dominated the Patra. Uh, but it's kind of started to make, a more public resurgence after the Patra revolutionaries have been able to overthrow the colonizers and reestablish the rule over Polonus. So it's almost like that part of their culture had to be repressed a bit while they were being,
Oppressed?
oppressed and colonized. But when they finally got out of it, now they can kind of revere their warriors properly again.
Yeah, because now they can actually say it, it's like, "Hey, this guy's a great warrior." Because
Yeah,
before that'd be like, "This guy's a great warrior." The vest could be like, "Oh, that fucking asshole? Alright, straight to jail."
it's straight to the gulag. At 15 years of age, every Patra is expected to participate in a coming of age ceremony, where they're sent into the wilderness to compete against both their peers and the environment. These ancient rites of battle and survival last several weeks and claim several lives every year, but a Patra's performance of the ceremony often shapes their social and career prospects for the near and distant future. The trials typically involve things like races, collecting rare hunting trophies, and survival in harsh environments with little equipment, all while skirmishing with other youths who are competing for the same resources and accolades as you.
It's a little bit of a nice annual Hunger Games going on.
Hunger Games light. Like, there's a few deaths every year, but it's not like you have to have these people grow up. So, like,
That's true. They're mostly not killing each other. You probably got some
yeah.
assholes, but
But yeah, it's a little extreme, but allegedly all of them are going through this.
yeah. It's just
At
Boy
least ones
Scout
who
summer
live.
camp.
That's true. Mixed between Boy Scouts and the Hunger Games. Their ancient traditions are very important to the Patras because they managed to keep these traditions despite the many years of Vesk rule, where the Vesks were actively trying to like stamp it out and make them conformist. One of the forms this takes is cultural dance and music are both very important to the Patras, even if they themselves are not an accomplished dancer or musician. So during the occupation, stuff like this was kind of moved underground and performed, if not in secret, kind of in private, and was passed along through generations that way.
Yeah, man, the Vesco oppression. We're I know we had like the Vesk had like a little bit of a oh, what's the term? Like, oh, maybe they're not so bad. They had some redeeming qualities. And now we're just talking about the Patras who have just had to do so much shit because of the Vesk. It's just like, Vesk are assholes again. They're back to being assholes.
I think it's important to look at it and be like, okay, the Veskarium are unmitigated fucking assholes, but there are occasional Vesk out there who have redeeming qualities because they look at the stuff at like honor and like, you know, duty and stuff in a less corrupted light than the Veskarium government portrays it.
Yeah, I
But
guess there are some good ones.
Jesus Christ. um, So with all this kind of, intrinsic love of dance and music, many Patras revere an ancestral deity named Mael, who is a goddess associated with music, dance, battle, and the planet of Polonus. So she's very much more like a planetary regional goddess than someone who's going to be everywhere in the galaxy, but very important to the Patras. We'll talk about her more on a deities episode.
Yeah, deities part 4 or 5 or 3, whichever one we are.
Whatever we're on.
Yeah, whichever one we get to and has her on it.
As for naming conventions, Patras are gonna be named usually with the influence of the readings of the mystic who interpreted their markings at birth. There's just some naming conventions associated with that. Some examples of names are going to be Connex, Day, Fetineku, Hafume, Ifset, Irhaza, Javish, Kipir, Leilorn, Madron, Miyu, Oharaf, Rizir, Sana, Tendris, Teo Shanhi, Vakuvi, Voyanrel, and Zamahai.
So pretty I I don't know how to describe that. Just
I would say
fantasy, fucking
vaguely,
whatever you want.
vaguely, vaguely elfish, like Middle Eastern-y again. We've had a couple ancestries like that.
Fewer hard consonants. So
Yeah.
if I if anything but a dwarven name, basically.
Yes. Yeah, no Nordics up in here. Or Scottish. And then if you want to make yourself a Pahtra character, some edicts you might want to consider for yourself are to challenge yourself and your allies, perform music and dance daily, take pride in your accomplishments.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure it'd be pretty funny if you want to get a hero point for your character by just like dancing randomly. It's like he's in the middle of a gunfight, just fucking moonwalking across. And it was just like,
Yeah,
God damn it, get down into cover.
it does say to do it daily, so I mean, you probably could just essentially aura farm and get it once per day just by dancing in battle. I think that'd probably be appropriate.
Yeah.
And then some anathema you might want to consider would be to abandon your ancestral traditions, bow to tyrants, or to give up your identity.
I like how the first one is an anathema is to not do any of your edicts. It's like, all right, well, they could have.
Thought a little harder, yeah.
Yeah. But I do like the don't bow to authority or
Tyrants.
tyrants. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
different.
Smart. You recognize when people are abusing their power, and you won't fucking go along with that. I feel like, especially, I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room to play a Pahtra, especially if you want to do like a very traditional Pahtra, perform that in a lot of different types of campaigns because it's not too strict on stuff. It's more just like, yeah, do your thing, dance around a little bit, don't work with dickheads.
Yeah, think pretty easy to stick to, honestly.
Yeah. If you want to play a Pahtra, some of the numbers that you're going to want to know about, your starting health is going to be 8 plus your class amount plus your constitution modifier. So kind of middle of the pack towards the upper end of how much health you're going to get. You're going to get ability boost your charisma and dexterity, as well as one free skill of your choice. And that flaw is going to go to your constitution.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. You wouldn't expect a Padra or any kind of, cat to be able to tank a hammer round, you know?
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind too, these guys are coming from Polonus, which is that lighter gravity, so that like overall they're probably just, it maybe that could affect the strength too, but yeah, these guys are just a little less tough, I
Yeah.
think, because of the planetary influence.
Slightly hollow boned.
Yeah, well, kind of bird-like. These guys are going to speak Common, Patra, Vesk, and additional languages equal to your intelligence modifier, which means you get to start with at minimum uh 3 languages, and if have any intelligence, you're quickly getting 4, 5, 6 languages.
Which, you know, could be good, except there's 1,000 different languages to choose from, and you never fucking know which one you're gonna need, so thank God we all speak common.
um Patra's going to have a standard speed of 25 feet and a size of medium, both of which are very standard. And as a Patra, you have dark vision.
Nice.
Getting into the heritages, we'll blow through these quickly because there are a fuck ton. With the starting ones that came out at the very beginning of the edition, we have the Hunter Stark, the Hunter Stalker Patra. You descend from a long line of hunters, and your fur is especially well suited to blending into multiple environments. As long as you're in a natural and undeveloped environment, you get a +2 bonus to stealth checks to hide and sneak, to survival checks to subsist, which is like find food, and your survival checks to cover your own tracks.
That's actually pretty solid.
Hmm.
So, yeah, anytime you're not in a city, kind of, get a lot of bonuses. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's not something like in D&D where you have to like be a ranger and pick your specific biome that you're good at. Like, oh, I'm really good at deserts or something. No, you just, as long as you're not in a city, you're doing good.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I'm sure that there are other really good ones, but that's number 1 on the list for me so far.
There you go. One of one, and he's done. The next heritage is Mael's chosen Patra. You have an undeniable streak of luck that you believe is a blessing from your ancestral goddess Mael. You might come from a long line of mystics, perhaps you were born at a holy site on Polonus, or you reached out in fervent prayer at a time of ultimate crisis. Most of Mael's chosen can point to at least one past event when their goddess may have intervened to save them from death or some other awful fate. Whether metaphorically or literally, you always seem to land on your feet. Get it, because you're a cat. The first time each day that you critically fail a saving throw, you immediately re-roll the saving throw as a free action. This is considered a fortune effect.
Oh, that's nifty,
It's
especially
nifty, and I like that it's a free action instead of a reaction. Because like there's lots of people that have like little reaction powers, so you don't have to choose. Free actions are much more rare, I've found. And yeah, you just fucking do it.
yeah, they're just like, "Oh, shit, that didn't work. Hang on, let me just re-roll that." Basically, you get,
Yeah.
like, a bonus hero point a day, almost.
Yeah, specifically for this type of situation.
So,
But yeah, a little bit lucky, you're the goddess is looking favorably on you. Could be good.
yeah.
The next option is the Rhyme Walker Patra. You've adapted to cold environments by growing a fluffy fur coat. You might be the descendant of ancient Pahtras who dwelled in the frigid regions of Polonus long before the Veskarium's exploitation changed the climate. Or you might have unlocked this genetic potential through bioengineering. You gain cold resistance equal to half your level, minimum one. You treat environmental cold effects as if they were one step less extreme. So if it's you're doing better in cold, and you're shrugging off some cold damage,
And
and
you
you
are,
probably look like a big fluffy cat,
yep, big floof. Which
big floof. If you,
I think this should be fun for role playing. That is like you
I
appear
do
to be
too.
a
Like the cold thing's good, but being a floof is
yeah, just
is
very big
desirable.
and poofy.
I want to be a Persian or like a what's the big fucking there's it's either Norway or like Newfoundland or something. What am I? Not
Newfoundland's
Norwegian
the
forest
dog.
cat. Yeah,
You're thinking of
there's
the
some big.
the cat from Dungeon Crawler Carl. Whatever.
That's a Persian.
Is it a Persian?
Yeah, she's a floof.
She is a floof.
Re-
Anyway,
Regardless, it'd be fun to
floofy
be a
cat.
floof. um, the final OG heritage was sand roamer. Your
It
ancestors
sounds like a
roamed
slur.
blast. It does sound like a slur. I did not like saying that. God. Your ancestors roamed blasted terrain, leached of vital nutrients by the Veskarium. You're much shorter and stockier than most Pahtras, with wide, tufted ears and fur-covered paw pads. Your size is small instead of medium. You ignore difficult terrain and uneven ground caused by sand, and you gain fire resistance equal to half your level.
Oh, so this is you get to be the tiny little cute kitty cat, and you're inflammable.
Less flammable.
Less flammable.
And you're good at running around on sand if you find yourself on Tatooine.
Which I think that this is an excellent time to bring in the pocket sand.
Scattered everywhere. What is the critical mass of sand to make it difficult terrain? All right, this next one's fucking weird. We're getting into the galactic ancestries ones now. Ooze bonded Pahtra. You are a Volosian, a deep jungle Pahtra of the southern Polonus coasts, who permanently bonded with a specially bred symbiotic ooze called a hemathoa. Your body secretes a slime that protects your coat, keeping it slippery and shiny. You gain resistance to acid damage equal to half your level, and a +2 bonus to reflex saves to avoid being engulfed by creatures, and to checks to escape after becoming engulfed.
Does engulfed include being bitten, swallowed, and grappled?
Let me look real quick.
Because that could be very nifty, however disgusting that it is.
Yeah, hold on. It seems like it's more like it's something that like envelops you like a gelatinous cube or something. But you know what? As a DM, I would probably treat it as also being swallowed because that seems a little too situational.
Yeah, you're just generally slippery.
Which, what the fuck were they thinking when they came up with this one? I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of icky. You're just like constantly goopy, and every time like you walk, you just
Yeah,
leave like little footprints, little paw prints of
just a
slime behind
slimy
you.
kitty cat.
You go to
I
shake
like it.
somebody's hand, they're like, yeah.
Blech. Yeah. Can't say it's my. I mean, it's creative. I like it. I don't know if that's my go-to.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be, little kitty cat guy, I'm not trying to be icky little kitty cat guy. Like nobody's gonna want to
Icky.
pet you when you're goopy.
No petting. I won't be fluffy.
Exactly.
All right. Next one is the Proud Home Pahtra. Your size is intimidating to most creatures, and you know how to use it to your advantage. Your size is large instead of medium. You're trained automatically in intimidation.
Oh, well, all right. There's
So you
no,
have to be a big boy, but I mean that's nice. Basically get a free skill,
that's true. You get
and you
free
can use the skill
intimidation.
point on something else. Yeah,
And I mean, being a large creature, that means it is harder for most people to grapple you and swallow you. And
better area control and stuff.
yeah, really, it's just the not weird version of the last one. He's that's a I guess, yeah, the better area control, basically your melee range is double anyone else's kinda deal, which is good, but still. They could have thrown in something else there, like,
Yeah,
literally anything else. You just
it feels a little underwhelming, but I think it isn't a terrible choice. It's just after the ooze bonded, it's like,
no.
I want a little more flavor, even
You're
if it's oopy goopy flavor.
you're just 70 feet tall instead of 6'5".
Yeah, I think that's what the Arnold Schwarzenegger one is.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Is he?
Just
He's either that one or this one, the Saberine Pahtra. Saberine Patras carry far more muscle than the average Pahtra and are built for hand-to-hand combat. Instead of the normal attribute boosts, you can choose to gain a boost to strength, a boost to charisma, and a free boost, and a flaw to your intelligence. So basically, you just ignore the normal set and you're taking a plus to strength and charisma and a minus to intelligence. You also gain the ancestral unarmed attack, standardized ancestry feat twice, which basically you're just getting better unarmed attack stuff associated with Pahtras.
oh, that's actually pretty solid, and,
Yeah.
I assume from their name that they have long saber
Yeah.
tooth-like
Which
teeth.
I think this is actually the big Arnold Schwarzenegger one we were looking at.
Yeah,
Muscly, and he did have the saber teeth.
yeah. So that
Interestingly, there's very few flaws to intelligence amongst all the ancestries. That's one they don't do very much. This is one of the few where you can have a -1 to intelligence
which,
and just be fucking Kronk.
yeah, and the thing is, though, like, that minus to intelligence, like, you're like, I don't care about intelligence." You're just like, I just lost a skill." There's a lot of
Yeah,
skills
and
that I
every
could
time I
have.
level up every time I level up, I only get 2 train points.
Yeah,
It's awful.
yeah,
But
intelligence is
goddamn, you could just
actually
be such a such a friendly Chad.
and it seems like I don't know if we've really discussed this much, but, like, intelligence is a lot more useful in Starfinder than it feels like in stuff like D&D and stuff. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
that they
stuff
found a
again.
better niche for it, especially with, like, the skills on level up. It's not based off your class so much, it's based off the intelligence too. I think that's a
Yeah.
good usage of it.
It used to be a really easy dump stat, and now it's like, maybe I should bump that up a little bit. It can help me a lot.
Yeah. Alright, for our last heritage is the Void-born Pahtra. Your shimmering black coat acts as a sort of natural spacesuit that's especially visible on the infrared spectrum. While in a vacuum, you temporarily gain the cosmic trait. Creatures with the cosmic trait don't need to breathe while in space or in a vacuum and are immune to the harmful effects of being in space. You also gain dark vision. This is Arthur's note. Yes, I'm aware that Patras already have dark vision. Seems to be a fucky wucky here.
I do like the idea that their coat is just so thick that it's like it's basically a spacesuit. Like,
Yeah,
goddamn, imagine having to brush that.
with weird cosmic energies and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be a
so
space cat.
as a DM and somebody chose this, would you let them like do something else aside from dark vision? Like give them a little list of acceptable alternatives, or would you just be like, nah, you can float in space now if you want to?
It would probably be case by case. Because yeah, it's obviously without getting dark vision, because that's just a free for all Patras per the basic rules. Yeah.
And also, like, not to be that guy, but how often are you gonna get ejected into space naked? We usually have armor and usually plan
Yeah.
for spacewalks.
Well, you know what? Now you're gonna get ejected more. Not that your current character would matter, but
Yes, my little Novarian moat of
Novian,
darkness, Novan, no, goddamn it, Novian.
you're gonna get canceled. All right, for getting into the ancestry feats for these guys, as a reminder, you get an ancestry feat at the first level and every 4 levels after. Um, I'm all done my little sampler. We'll do 4 of the first levels, then 1 for each one going up after that. Or sorry, 3 of the first levels. The first one we're going to talk about is called Absolute Unit. It's a prerequisite. You have to be a proud home Patra, which is the one where you can be large. Your size gives the impression that there's no room to escape. You gain the Intimidating Glare skill feat. Additionally, if you're blocking a target's passage down a hallway or through a door, You gain a +1 bonus to your intimidation checks to demoralize the target. So for intimidating glare, you can demoralize with a mere glare. When you do, demoralize loses the auditory trait and gains the visual trait, and you don't take a penalty if the creature doesn't understand your language.
I like how this is just the bouncer. Your
Yep.
guy is a bouncer. It's like someone's trying to get their door. You just look down at them. And I like how they're getting a little bit silly with some of these, like the names.
They've been silly.
Yeah, but like I was going through my level up, getting a new spell for my witch warper, and one of
Yep.
them is called Vibe Check.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I had to do a double take, and I'm like, wait, what? And it's actually just like you can make somebody like angry, sad, happy, or like you can
I'll
change their
change their
mood and
disposition,
then like make them
their vibes, if you will.
yeah, change their vibe, and then they get like bonuses or negatives towards it or whatever. But I was like going through, it's like vibe check. I'm like, that's pretty funny. It the temptation to take it just because it's like I cast vibe check would be kind of funny in the middle of an encounter.
That is awesome. All right, our next level 1 example is harmonic sensitivity. You've developed keen organs that have a sensitivity to sound, and you know how to put them to use. You become trained in performance or gain the assurance feat with performance if you're already trained in this skill. As a reminder, assurance means instead of rolling, you can just take your performance bonus plus 10, and that's your result.
Hmm.
In addition, you can accurately recall a melody or lyrics if you've heard them within the last week, granting you a +2 circumstance bonus to all deception and performance checks that involve mimicking speech or a specific sound.
I like how they just went through a really, really long like description of just ears. Because I too have an organ that is sensitive to sound. It is how
But
I'm
remember,
hearing you.
this is the one that can feel. You're literally touching the music notes instead of hearing them.
That's true. It's the sound whiskers. Uh, I mean, it's very specific, very,
Yeah.
very specific. Unless you can say, "Oh, I remember listening to the sound of birds last week, and so now I'm gonna mimic a bird call," kind of
It's
deal.
something you could use it maybe like security robots to get into their charging area have to like do a certain tone of beeps or something and you mimic those or
So yes, I listened to a lot of Daft Punk recently. I can be a robot.
oh, we want to take a quick break. You can
Yep.
grab some water too.
I shall also grab water. We use a water cooler, and the cooler ran out of water, so I had to swap out the
Ah,
jugs.
tragic. I drank from my sink because I live in a blessed land.
Must be nice having potable water out of the sink.
And for our third first level, we're going to have competitive spirit. As a once per hour reaction triggered by an ally attempting a skill check with a skill that you have a proficiency rank of trained or better in, you push yourself to be the best by competing with the triggering ally. Until the end of your next turn, you can attempt the same skill check to perform the same action or activity that the triggering ally was doing when they triggered this. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your skill check. If you achieve at least 1 degree of success higher than the triggering ally, this this use of competitive spirit doesn't count towards its frequency. So, which is once per hour. If you roll a critical failure on this skill check, you take a -1 penalty to all skill checks attempted with that skill for the next hour as you try new techniques to improve your future attempts.
Hmm. So this mean like when we're flying the ship and you're like, everyone give me a computer's check to like see if we crash it or whatever
Yeah.
situation where everyone does a check.
Scanning the planet or something, yeah.
Yeah. So basically you should get if somebody else is doing the same skill check, you get a +2 bonus to it?
Yeah, technically it wouldn't be all at the same time. We'd probably run it like that, but it would be like, yeah, say our pilot does a computer's check and he fails. And you basically shove him out of the way and say, "Let me try. You do it. You get a +2 bonus." And then if you get say he failed and you get success or a critical success, you basically refresh this skill immediately. But if
Huh.
you fail, you just both fail. But if you critically fail, then you're going to be taking a -1 to your computer checks for the next hour because you're like, fuck, I fucked up. How do I fix myself?
Yeah. Honestly, I like this one because it's a really solid upside that also has like a kind of fun downside to it. Like
Yeah, I like it too.
easy to use and role play with and kind of have fun with versus just gaining dark vision than what you already have dark vision, you know?
Yeah. No, and I think especially for the Pahtras, like very thematic, just like with their competitive, like, I'm going to help the team, but I'm going to step in and show that I'm the best kind of thing. All right. Fifth one's odd. Um, it's called centering scent. As a single action, you can recenter yourself with a familiar scent stored on your body, such as a favorite food, the scarf of a loved one, or a sample of dirt from your homeworld. Roll a DC 5 flat check. On a critical success, reduce your frightened value by 2. On a success, reduce your frightened value by 1. So basically, you whip out your jar of dirt and you give it a sniff.
I that is a weird one. Also, you know that, like, when they were coming up with the name of that, centering scent,
I hate centering scent.
there's like, where
Centering scent.
we can make a half a pun out of this, like, there's
They're like
wordplay in
we're
here
wordplay
somewhere.
geniuses. All right, for the ninth level example, we have Mael's Melody. For this one, you have to be one of the Mael's chosen Pahtra, which divine rhythm pulses through your blood, and your life is the music. You gain a +2 bonus to performance checks. In addition, you can use performance to create a diversion, demoralize, or to make an impression. If you listen to music while resting, which would include short resting, you regain a number of hit points equal to your level.
Oh, and this is a ninth level?
Yeah,
So it's like
it's a
9
little
hit
bit.
points. Yeah, I mean, by the time you hit level
But if you're doing
9,
every
you're
short rest,
yeah,
you don't have a mystic. Yeah.
yeah, I without a mystic, any healing that you can get. I do like that. That's a pretty solid one as well. You do it's a very specific one to get there. You can't just kinda choose it willy-nilly, but being able
Sure.
to basically just start busting out in song to demoralize people at any time, like, that's
Yeah.
big. Like,
Just rap
demoralize the
battle at them.
entire yeah. Just finding
Just make an
every
Eminem character.
exact
That'd be awesome. All right. Uh, for our level 13 example, we have Void Stalker, for which you have to be one of the Voidborn Pahtra. You can strike fear into those you stalk simply by letting them know that you can see them, but they can't see you. As a single action, you sneak or hide and then verbally mock a single creature within 30 feet from where you're hidden. Your stealth check against that target's perception gains the following success and failure results in addition to its usual results, which would be staying hidden. On a critical success, the target you did this to becomes frightened 2. The target can't reduce its frightened condition below 1 until 1 minute passes or until it observes you, whichever comes first. On a success, the target you mock becomes frightened 1, and on a critical failure, you become observed to the target you were trying to mock.
another way of, frightening somebody, and this is pretty good because, like well, I guess it can be. Yeah, you can do this in the dark though, because you have dark vision now, so that's pretty useful.
I like this one because it's like with mountain lions here in Washington, especially. I've heard them, but I've never seen one before. But when they're around, they make this weird like yowling noise that just like kind of echoes around and is disorienting. It is scary as fuck. So it's kind of like that, just like the very much I can see you, but you can't see me
Yeah.
situation. It's like, oh no.
When Arthur's in his backyard, he instantly gains the frightened 2 condition. He's like, "Oh, shit, I'm going inside."
We only have bears. I've never seen a mountain lion.
Well, that's good. But, when a bear takes a shit in your front yard, you're just like, "Oh, I'm staying inside today too."
All right, you're gonna like the name of the 17th level one. Song of My People. You perform a mournful dirge tinged with supernatural grief that compels the soul of a lost comrade to return to its body. You cast the spell Breath of Life once per day at the 7th level, gains the auditory trait. What is Breath of Life, you might ask? It is a reaction spell triggered when a living creature within 60 feet of you would die. Your blessing revives a creature at the moment of its death. You prevent the target from dying and restore 6d8 hit points to the target. You can't use this spell if the triggering effect was it's called a death effect, it's a keyword basically, or an effect that leaves no remains, such as disintegrate, or I would add stepping into a jet engine.
Hmm.
So
That's
yeah, if you've ever heard a cat yowling outside in the middle of the night, you do that and your buddy comes back.
It's all right. I gave you 1 extra lives. You were down to 4 lives. We brought that back up to 5.
Yep, that gets fun.
I
All
mean,
right.
very useful one, except
Yeah,
it's not until we said level 17?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's never gonna happen. Sorry, y'all. Campaigns just don't last long enough for people to get that high level. It
Maybe we'll
doesn't
start
happen.
one that's really high once.
We'll start at level 11 one time and go from there.
There we go.
'Cause even our D&D campaign that we did for, like, 3 years, 2 years, 2 or 3
I think we got
years.
to level 14 or 15 on that, but
Nope,
the difference with
11.
that in 4th edition is you can get up to level 30.
Oh,
So,
'cause I actually looked at my character sheet, yesterday, and I was level 11, so even
ah,
2 years, you're still skimpy on the level ups.
I don't skimp. We just don't play enough.
Yeah, we also broke that one's economy. I had, like, 80,000 gold or something. I could afford whatever I wanted. It was a we
It was a
accidentally
glorious time for you.
we broke the game a little bit.
All right. Well, to close us out, I want to do our usual thing where we each come up with like a character idea. For mine, I want to make a veteran of the revolution against the Vescarium, maybe with like the Rhyme Walker heritage, like the big fluffy cat. And I want him to have like an old, gruff Scottish guy vibe. And to lean into like the music stuff, he would definitely play the bagpipes, get drunk, and love telling embellished stories of like his feats of prowess as a youth and stuff. Like just a fucking drunk, shit talking, bagpipe playing menace.
Scottish accent, small cat.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he's a dwarf, but a cat. I would love it.
I think I would wanna make a, what's the slur? Sand roamer?
Yeah, Sand Roamer, I
Yeah,
think.
because, they're the
Yes.
little guys who are slightly fireproof, which I think
Uh-huh.
is funny. Like, just as a and, like, especially, like, using incendiary grenades, like, just a
Yeah.
small because this is the small size cat. You are just
Yeah.
a little fluffy guy and just busting out incendiary grenades all the fucking time, just like, that's your thing. You just throw
Yeah.
fire grenades, and
You have
maybe
a
you get
flamethrower too.
a flamethrower, yeah.
Yeah.
So, going into, like, the soldier vibe of that, where you're just like, you came from the desert, and you're just like fucking little Mad Max cat walking out with a flamethrower and incendiary grenades on you.
That'd be awesome.
I think that'd be a fun one to role play, kind of like a little Junkrat from Overwatch, but with
Yeah.
fire, just talking about it.
Fuzzy little flamer, a little pyromaniac. That'd be good. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the Patra. Do you have any thoughts, questions, concerns?
Honestly, fun. It's a fun little ancestry. I think there's a lot of like really cool stuff you can do with it. If you want to do like a true soldier class, getting the saber one that has the bonus to strength and charisma, it's gonna help out being a
Yeah.
soldier. But even outside of that, like what was their initial detriment attribute?
Constitution.
Constitution. Yeah,
Soldier's
that
gonna
can't hurt a
health.
soldier, but
Yeah, HP number.
you
Yeah.
can still like
Well, he's not getting that because remember his all switch. His is going to he's going to get bonuses to strength and charisma, and his flaw is now to intelligence,
yeah, which
not constitution, which has its own problems. Like,
yeah, when I made a soldier, I definitely used intelligence as a dump stat, which was a mistake, but that's okay. Yeah, I think it's just like this is one of the ones where there's a lot of variety that you can have with it. Vest seems like set up to be something like a soldier or like a melee focused class or something like that.
Sure.
But this, it feels like you can go um combat
Bunch of different
or
directions.
kind of
Yeah.
like the support combat because there's a lot of like performance base in
Hmm.
the Patra feats and ancestry.
Yeah, that's fair.
Being able to just start singing and demoralize everyone, like that's pretty
Helpful.
good. Your yowling is actually so bad that it's nails on a chalkboard to everyone around you.
Brings your friend back from the dead to shut you up. Yeah, we mentioned like the Khajiit earlier and stuff, and I like that they feel different from like cat people. Like there's humanoid cat people in a lot of different games, like D&D and Skyrim and other stuff. But to me, it feels different enough that it's clearly its own thing and not just a riff on the same stuff over and over.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although you can probably have, like, a ball of string and,
Sure.
some memory. It'd be
Yeah,
good.
or set up a fucking merchant who's selling you drugs or something.
Yeah.
You can do
Uh,
it, but it's not required.
Definitely gonna eventually have a slightly space racist character where I will keep a ball of string in my pocket at all times just in case I come up against Pahtras. I can just throw that and see if it distracts them.
And then they throw their pocket sand back at you, and everyone looks stupid.
I forgot about
All
the
right,
pocket sand of my character. This is
that's
perfect.
true. That brings us to the end of our Patra episode today. As a reminder, you can find us over on Instagram at drifthappens_ASP to see the different character art we looked at in the episode. There were in my opinion, some of the better ones are in this one. I particularly like the Arnold weightlifter. It's simple but just stupid.
And
I
so
love it.
completely unexpected on my end.
Yeah,
Like, just did not see that one coming.
yeah. But until then, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, thank you all so much for listening, although, Arthur, I do have one more question.
Oh,
On
one.
on the pocket sand thing, what about a pocket full of marbles? Because those are just large sand, technically.
No. I'm
Glass is
not
sand.
allowing glass and sand to be go back to Minecraft.
Because if you have a pocket full of marbles and toss that out, that's difficult terrain, and if we can count that as sand, I could just skitter across it and light people on fire on the way.
That is a hilarious image.
There's there's some good memery with
Just
Pahtras.
rollerblading and flamethrower.
Yes. I have my little Patra Heelys on, and I'm
Oh my
rocking it.
god.
On that note, thank you all so much. We will catch you either next week or the week after, or, whenever I get my car fixed. Who knows what happens. So,
Cool.
bye bye for now.
Have a good one.